So at the beginning of my college process, it was intimidating at first.
Well, I feel like I really wasn't prepared at all. I didn't even have so much of an idea of what I was sort of doing when I was looking at colleges.
When I began the process, I kind of felt hesitant to talk about it because I kind of like to live in the now and I didn't really want to think about the future too much. It was kind of a scary thing to think about where you're going to be for the next 4 years of your life.
I had older friends that were like going through the college process, and I necessarily didn't know like as much as I know about it right now.
I was very overwhelmed because I plan to be a music major, so there's a lot more steps involved.
At the beginning, I was a little unsure where to start because there's a lot to do.
All of it definitely, understandably, seems overwhelming, but what you got to do is you got to approach each thing like one at a time.
I think one word that really describes how I was feeling throughout the entire process is just excited.
So when I was introduced to the idea of like a good fit, I considered like a few factors. One, definitely the environment, like the campus.
I don't know how to explain it, but it's some like feeling you get when you step on a campus and you're like, okay, this is cool, I like it here, or like, I don't know, something about this just really makes me not want to come here.
Personally, I had that right fit feeling at multiple schools. So a lot of people talk about they went to this one school and they absolutely fell in love with it and then they knew immediately that they were going to go there. And I didn't have that.
For me, I would have to arrange a private lesson with the professor of flute at whatever university or conservatory. And then if I like that professor, then I would really consider about doing an audition there.
And I also tested out a pre-college program at one college, and I really liked it, and I just knew from that moment that it was the right fit for me.
And also like a big factor is price as well. Obviously, like if you get merit aid or better tuition some places, that can also help like sway.
I applied to only 3 schools, so for me the list wasn't very big to begin with, but what really helped me was going to visit them, because for me, I couldn't really know for sure if it was going to be the right fit until I was actually there.
I'm the kind of person that is, when I'm walking on a campus, I'm always like, oh, this is perfect. I could definitely go here. And I did that, like, I think at almost every single school I visited, I was like, this is it. This is the one.
It was very simple, straightforward, and it also organized like all my colleges too, which was very helpful.
Once you just get on the Common App, just start getting the ball rolling, start looking at colleges slowly, then it just becomes easier and easier.
The Common App is long. It's very long. It's not fun, but it's something that almost all schools require, so you need to do it.
I think that the Common App was good in the sense that it really expedited the process because a lot of these schools want the same information.
I really liked it. I also had to go through different processes since I was applying to art school.
It was very useful for only half of my schools though, because the other half I had to fill out their own application, but it made the process so much easier because it would have taken forever.
The Common App's really easy. It asks you a lot of really simple questions. Like, it's almost mindless filling it out. Like, you just have to put, a lot of family information about yourself.
I applied to schools in California, and the UC system has its totally different application.
Even though it's tedious, really focus hard on it and just get it done early, get it done right when it opens.
So on August 1st, I went in, I did all of the typical, where do you live, what do your parents do, what's your name, information in one day. I think it took me 3 hours to do that.
Well, when my parents first mentioned my college essay, what went through my head is like, oh God, I had to do another huge essay, but then they told me how long it actually was, and it didn't seem too bad.
Write about what you want to write about, not what you think people want you to write about. Be authentic, because no matter what you write, if it's something that you are truly passionate about, that will come off to the colleges.
And then I started over the summer with my essay writing, and I would highly recommend planning ahead and getting your stuff done early just in case something comes up, and that way you just don't have to stress about it.
For me, I wanted to incorporate not only what a college looks for, but what makes me who I am.
The way I sort of went about writing it was I just wrote a couple essays about different parts of my personality that weren't really shown in my application. and then I went from there. I chose my favorite one, and I think it gave a nice, more complete picture of who I am.
So for me, all three of the schools that I applied to used completely different applications. So it wasn't like I could write a college essay that I could use for all of my schools. Every single school had different prompts, and they all had different requirements for length and what was supposed to go in them.
I just started formulating ideas and brainstorming around it, and then I started to think of this idea of like positivity and working around situations. So that really helped me to create the message. And I thought of times in my life where positivity has really helped and conquered all.
One, I got my essay done early. I got it out of the way, which looking back on that right now is huge, because if I was like had to do that when senior year started, like it just wouldn't have been good. It like would have added so much stress. So I'm really happy that I got it done like during the summer.
For teachers that I chose to write my letter of recommendation, I wanted to pick people who like I not only did very well in their class in, but also who I had some sort of personal relationship with, or teachers who I felt had gotten to know me well over the year.
So for my rec letter, since I take such an importance in extracurriculars, I wanted a teacher who not only knew me in school as a good student, but had done stuff out of school with me.
And then I also asked my math teacher, because I've never done very well in math until like recently, I guess, like because I really tried hard. And I think that's important to ask a teacher who you don't really do well in that subject, but you try really hard, because they'll see your effort, and it's really important that colleges see that too.
So I just chose teachers that I really love their classes, and I think that they enjoyed having me in it, like classes where the teacher, like I felt a connection with the teacher, and that they really made class a place I wanted to be.
I think it's a good idea to pick two teachers, one in the field that you're interested in and one that you just have a good relationship with.
Definitely, my suggestion would be to pick teachers who know you, who you have a connection with, who you speak with, who you kind of just go after school and converse with if you do that.
But I did do them. I would highly recommend doing them if it's optional, which it most likely is, because it shows the school that you're really interested.
They can be fun. If you get a person that fits you, it can be really interesting. You can talk a lot about not only yourself, but they can provide insight as what you would like in the school, not just like, oh, we have a great biology program. They can tell you stuff that's not on their website, and that's what's really special about an alumni interview.
My experience with them was something like I didn't expect, because I've like prior to having alumni interviews, I had a lot of job interviews, so I kind of assumed that alumni interviews would be very similar to like my job interviews, where it's just kind of like less conversational, more direct, like, okay, how experienced are you in this, and why should I have you join this college? Alumni interviews are like nothing like that.
A lot of schools don't pressure you into doing them. I know some schools do, but the ones that I applied to definitely didn't make it sound like it was like a really necessary thing to do.
And they were awesome. They just ask you questions about like, why do you want to go to this school? Like, what makes us the right fit for you, like we were talking about earlier. And I just think it's really cool to be able to talk to them, and it really helps you. I would do as many college interviews as you can, because it really helps you get a feel for the school and the vibe that it has.
I think the important thing to know is that it doesn't matter that much. It's not going to make you not get into a school, or probably make you get into a school like by that much, unless you completely bomb it, which you're not going to do, because the people want to talk to you.
Yeah, knowing what I know now, I would probably start earlier, working on everything, stick to a more rigid schedule.
I was a little overwhelmed with the amount of supplement essays that I had to do. It caught me by surprise. A few schools had more supplement essays than I thought they would.
There were points where I finished applications, and then at the last second I started to realize, like, I don't actually want to go here.
So many things that you wouldn't expect to cost money.
Earlier in the year I broke my leg, so it was harder for me to tour schools. So like, I didn't really get a feel of what schools I wanted.
I guess it was just learning to manage your time. Like, that was something that I was really improving on throughout this whole process.
I think the most important thing is just taking the entire process as just learning about yourself. I feel like this process, it can be stressful, but the reason why is because you care so much.
I would definitely say make deadlines for yourself. And it's never too early to start the application process.
Be prepared, like start planning ahead, because I can't tell you how many of my friends were so stressed out, like come like September, October about college apps.
So if I could go back and, switch one thing, I would push everything back. I would have done my essays a little earlier. I would have prepared for my audition a little earlier, and I would have been set to go a little earlier. And I definitely feel like that would have made my senior year as a whole a lot better.
Everyone's going to be freaking out over it during the school year while you already have it done, so it just feels good to get it done early and relax your senior year.
Visit every school that you can. Don't limit yourself to only one type of school. If you think like, oh, I really want a small liberal arts school or I want a big state school, just go look at everything that there is, because the thing is you don't know what you want until you go out and see it.
A lot of schools will do what you're interested in, so it doesn't need to be just one school that you like. You can like a lot of different schools. You can like them different amounts, but you'll be happy wherever you go.
I would talk to someone that goes to a school you're interested in, because I know I did that, especially from Hopkinton High School, and it was really helpful.
Kind of start the process as soon as possible, start thinking a little bit, and there isn't any really need to stress yourself over it, because everything eventually works out.
Also, you want to leave time in case unexpected things came up.
Honestly, just relax. It's all going to work out. So really just take a deep breath. Don't stress out too much about the common application. Do it early. Get your essay done.
Like I said, if you're going to procrastinate, don't do it now.
Honestly, I would try and just leave all the work to the student, and if they need any help, they'll ask, because it can be really stressful when the parent at least is asking all the time, oh, did you get this done? Did you get that done? It's just stressful, and it'll just create a fight, so I would just try and avoid that.
We're hearing about it in school all the time from our teachers. I mean, it's always on our minds anyways.
I think you need to know your kid, because I know some of my friends really relied on their parents to help them with editing things or making sure they were getting things on deadlines. But then other people were just stressed out and didn't need their parents to be adding that stress.
If they're having some trouble, it might be good to back off.
I know you might be worried about your kid not getting their stuff in before the deadlines, but they are much more stressed, and you kind of have to take a step back from that.
It's okay to let them work at their own pace. I mean, yes, encourage them to do work, but they'll get there.
I would definitely say keep your kids on track, but don't get too over-involved in it.
So the best thing for a parent to do is let your kid figure out what they want and how they want to go about doing it.
At the end of the day, it's their choice.
Be cautious with talking about colleges, and when family's over for Christmas and Thanksgiving, they're always going to be oh, what college are you going to? Do you know yet? That's going to stress the kid out. So it's really just tell everybody they're going through this right now, and so are we.